Sylvester Stallone, the Hollywood legend we all know and love, just took on woke Hollywood in a way only he could. With a smirk and a jab at the endless pronoun debates, he's making waves, and it's shaking up Tinseltown. Stallone isn't just rolling with the punches, he's throwing them, right at the heart of a culture that's become obsessed with sensitivity. If Rocky and Rambo were made today, would they even stand a chance?
What's happening with the prequels to both? Aren't there prequel series that you're working on with both Rocky and Rambo?
Yeah, the Rambo one seems to be coming to the surface. We have some, because Amazon is involved.
Sylvester Stallone has a pretty bold take on Hollywood these days, and it's not exactly rosy. According to him, iconic films like Rocky or The Godfather wouldn't even stand a chance if they were pitched today. Imagine that. Two of the most beloved movies in history, films that shaped cinema, struggling to get greenlit in today's Hollywood. Stallone thinks the reason is pretty simple. The industry has changed, and not for the better. Back then, it was all about telling a powerful story, rooting for the underdog, and showcasing genuine grit. But today, Hollywood seems more focused on avoiding controversy, catering to trends, and appeasing every possible audience group.
Got that phone call. What was the first thing you thought?
Rocky just called me. When he calls, it comes up sly. I'm like, that's calling me. The impact he's had on my life.
He believes these shifts have hurt storytelling in a big way. It's as if filmmakers are constantly looking over their shoulders, worried about stepping on toes rather than creating something raw and real. And that's where Stallone draws the line. He misses the days when movies were about characters with depth, heart, and a bit of roughness around the edges. Those classic action heroes, like Stallone himself, were tough guys who showed vulnerability, a mix you rarely see these days. Instead, you get sanitized, politically correct heroes who seem more concerned with ticking the right boxes than kicking ass. Stallone's not interested in that. He wants films that resonate, that aren't afraid to push boundaries and show some real conflict, the way Rocky did when it made audiences cheer for the ultimate underdog.
The sudden death of Sylvester Stallone's son, Sage. The star making his first comments about the tragedy, and the case has now been turned over to the LAPD Robbery Homicide Squad. ABC's David Wright has the latest.
Stallone's stance against the woke Hollywood machine isn't unique, but it's certainly powerful. He's in good company with stars like Mel Gibson and Matthew McConaughey, who've also faced backlash for refusing to follow Hollywood's unwritten rules. Mel Gibson, for example, has been practically blacklisted at times, largely due to his outspoken Christian beliefs and controversial moments. McConaughey, though not as targeted, has still caught flack for his views, particularly when he's voiced support for traditional values. These guys have all pushed back against the Hollywood status quo in one way or another, and they've paid the price for it. Stallone's take, however, isn't the same as Gibson's or McConaughey's. While Gibson is more vocal about his faith, and McConaughey takes a laid-back, almost philosophical approach, Stallone's got that straight-talking, no-nonsense attitude. He's not here to preach or philosophize, he's here to call it as he sees it. For him, Hollywood's new era of sensitivity feels restrictive, like there's a pressure to conform or face the consequences. And it's true, there are unspoken rules in Hollywood. If you don't toe the line, you can find yourself out in the cold, just like Gibson did.
About Hollywood's expectations of him.
It's being friendly to people, because being Stallone's son, they expect you to be, this punk, man, this spoiled, idiot.
And you're not.
Back in the 80s and 90s, action heroes were larger-than-life icons, and few could hold a candle to Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. These two were on top of their game, dominating the box office and setting the standard for what it meant to be a tough guy on the big screen. But even though they were often compared, Stallone and Schwarzenegger took some very different paths. Schwarzenegger, with his unmistakable Austrian accent and bulked-up physique, became famous for roles like The Terminator, where he'd throw out one-liners with a cold, robotic intensity. He was all about brute force and machine-like efficiency.
In front against the column.
Why is Rocky wearing a purple coat? Because I'm trying to upstage you dudes. That's why. It's not that
Kellen Lutz,
complicated.
Mel Gibson, Randy Couture, Jason Statham, Harrison Ford. You got, Dolph Lundgren in there.
Stallone, on the other hand, brought something else to the table. Sure, he had the muscles and the toughness, but he also brought a certain vulnerability and heart that set him apart. Take Rocky and Rambo. Both characters are fighters, but they're also flawed, with emotions and struggles that make them feel real. Stallone's heroes aren't just punching machines. They're people with grit who fight for something bigger than themselves. Unlike Schwarzenegger, who often played larger-than-life figures, Stallone's roles were grounded in a kind of gritty reality. It's this mix of heart and toughness that helped Stallone build a lasting legacy, making him not just an action star, but a storyteller who could connect with audiences on a deeper level. While Schwarzenegger might be the Terminator, Stallone is the guy who keeps getting up, no matter how many times life knocks him down.
This is of you all over, Barbie, all over the wall. There's all you. and then the Ken coat.
The Ken coat is
Obviously.
actually, I used to wear a Ken coat. For real.
I mean, come on, buddy.
Stallone isn't just about big explosions and epic fights. His movies carry core values that he believes in deeply: family, patriotism, and good old-fashioned common sense. He weaves these themes into his films, creating characters that stand for something beyond just themselves. Look at Rambo. Last Blood. It's not just another action flick, it's a movie about loyalty and love for family. Rambo goes through hell to save his niece, taking on a brutal Mexican cartel with fierce determination. It's violent, sure, but underneath it all, there's this powerful message about standing up for those you love and protecting what's yours.
The relationship things and all that stuff comes out.
We, Sly's super famous, but we're all we all get along very well. So I thought this would be a fun way for us to show our family dynamic and kind of like we're a lot like everyone else.
And then there's Tulsa King, Stallone's recent series. Here, he plays a mob boss who's not just trying to survive, but to live by his own set of principles. He's a man who's seen the world change around him and refuses to compromise on what he believes in. Through his character, Stallone takes jabs at today's obsession with political correctness and reminds us of the importance of common sense. He's not interested in following Hollywood's woke script. Instead, he's showing us that sometimes you just need to call it like it is.
Sylvester Stallone is returning for the new season of Tulsa King, one of the most watched shows on Paramount+. He plays a New York gangster forced to rebuild his empire in, Tulsa. Adriana Diaz met up with him on set.
Sylvester Stallone recently took a hilarious jab at the pronoun craze, and it was like a breath of fresh air. He didn't hold back. Stallone joked about the endless list of pronouns out there, throwing out words like he, she, him, and even boom to make his point. And then, in a stroke of genius, he delivered the punchline. You know what my pronoun is? It. It's as if Stallone is saying he's done with this whole pronoun debate, making it clear that he thinks Hollywood has lost its mind over this stuff. By using humor, he's poking fun at what he sees as an obsession with something that shouldn't even be a big deal in the first place. This was more than just a joke. It was a statement. Stallone's making it clear that he doesn't buy into the woke way of thinking, and he's not afraid to let everyone know. He's saying, enough is enough, without preaching or lecturing. He's just being himself, straightforward and unapologetic. And that's why people loved it. For those of us who feel like this whole pronoun thing has gotten out of hand, Stallone's words hit the mark. He's not trying to insult anyone. He's just using humor to shed light on what he considers the absurdity of the situation. It's his way of standing up against the relentless push for political correctness, and it's resonating with a lot of people who feel the same way. Stallone's not just laughing pronouns. He's also taking on what he calls ultra-sensitivity in Hollywood. In his eyes, the entertainment industry has gone too far in trying to be sensitive about everything. Stallone thinks this trend is stifling creativity, making it harder to tell real, gritty stories. He's had enough of the tiptoeing and pandering, and he's not about to let anyone dictate what goes into his movies. On his film sets, Stallone's the boss. He doesn't allow anyone to push woke ideas into his work, and he's upfront about it. Insiders from his movie sets have mentioned how Stallone refuses to let the woke police influence his films. He's not afraid to push back if he thinks a storyline or character is being watered down to avoid offending anyone. And it's not just talk. Stallone has been actively shutting down attempts to bring woke elements into his movies, making sure the stories stay true to his vision. By taking this stand, Stallone has gained even more respect from fans who feel like Hollywood has become too sanitized. They appreciate his commitment to making movies that don't feel like they're trying to teach a lesson or make a political statement. Stallone's films are about action, grit, and characters who say it like it is, without worrying about who might get offended. And in a world where so many in Hollywood seem to be walking on eggshells, Stallone's approach is a reminder that not everyone has to play by those rules. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.